What does a skeleton mother sing to her baby? A skull-lullaby. Welcome to the stream, my friends. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I almost said Thursday. I'm all discombobulated about the calendar. But welcome in. Thank you for being here. Tonight is going to be very much like last night. We've got 2 games, a double feature, our ongoing first playthroughs. This is night 18 of Dragon's Lair. Night 18. I am trying to maintain an attitude of cautious optimism. I thought on Sunday night I had really discovered something, and that I was going to make progress, and then last night it just didn't happen. But I still think that it's possible. And after we play this for a couple hours, we're going to switch about midpoint of the stream, and we're going to continue our playthrough of Ecco the Dolphin, The Tides of Time. It'll be night 4 of that game. That game is progressing well once again. I got horrifically stuck on night 2, but I managed last night to become unstuck. We'll see how it goes. But welcome in, my friends. We've got Cuz I'm the Best first in chat tonight. Thank you for being here, my friend. I hope you are well. We've got Lucent Jelly as well. Welcome in. And welcome to any and all lurkers. Sounds like a painful night, Best says. And to my claims of cautious optimism, optimism is always good, looking on the bright side of what is and what could be, even if it's paired with the doubt of the cautiously part. Yeah, I mean, so I tend very naturally toward pessimism and sometimes extreme pessimism. Hey, Chozo Brain, welcome in. And I know better. I know better. It's not an appropriate attitude, either intellectually or historically, that I should carry of pessimism. When it comes to games, it's kind of hard to break because it's sort of paired with a habit of I really want to try and maintain sort of a sense of humility toward the games. So there's a little bit of I expect to do poorly. But there's also a sense of to expect the opposite too much would feel boastful. So, let's press some buttons. We're partying, Chozo says. I mean, these games are a party of a sort, I suppose. I don't know. I feel like I could still. I feel like I could still come away from both of these games with a fairly surprisingly positive outlook on them. I don't know. This game is pretty not great, and playing it has largely been a not very fun experience, but I still somehow think that once I beat this game, I'm gonna have a posture toward it of oh, it's really not that bad. I don't know why the fireball has to despawn at a certain distance. I don't know why it can't just travel the whole length of the screen. It's already in a downward arc, so its usefulness would still be limited. Well, it's a very gradual downward arc, so maybe I overstate that limitedness. I thought so. That guy is such an annoying feature of this game. The thing about him that I find annoying is like, so the thing is, he shows up and if he makes contact with you, he steals all your gold. And like, I could care less about the gold. I mean, the gold is nothing to me. I don't care about the points of the score in pretty much any game ever made. The only value that points in a video game ever have for me are if at a certain threshold you get an extra life. That's all I care about points. But, like, chasing a high score for the sake of a score is, like, less than worthless for me. So I don't care about that aspect of him. Why he's so annoying to me is like he's random and unpredictable, but his appearance also throws off the behavior of other enemies. Like it despawns them or makes them spawn in a different timing or position, and I really need everything in this game to be as regular as possible. Like anything that throws off expectations is a supreme evil. Greg's Retro Channel, welcome in, Greg. Hope you're well tonight, my friend. Shadowplay, welcome in. Dead Zergling, welcome in. No, I did not. I did not beat Dragon Slayer. I thought you were here for the end of Dragon Slayer. Oop. Don't want to miss my stop. Watching the OG Transformers series from 1984. Right on. I am just barely too young to have experienced Transformers. People who people who are my age are like always surprised that I have no memory or love for Transformers or Voltron or G.I. Joe or He-Man. It's like I'm like a year and a half too young where I just barely missed out on all those. Like my early cartoon loves are like the Ninja Turtles and the real Ghostbusters. They're the things that come immediately after all of those other things that I mentioned. Whoa, that was close. Ooh, my energy is almost gone. I missed that one energy pickup earlier in the stage. Those are both good too. I mean, I loved them. The thing is, like, I know that I watched the real Ghostbusters cartoon. My memories of it are real fuzzy, though. I remember the toys more than I remember the cartoon. And I loved the Ghostbusters, not so much because of the cartoon, but because of the second movie more than anything. I feel like Ghostbusters 2 was, like, really my prime Ghostbusters, like, media experience. And has been well as another like trod story path. It's kind of mysterious because I had recurring nightmares about Vigo the Carpathian for what seemed like years as a child. So, why I would be... Well, I guess that explains a lot about me, because I was going to say, why would I be so drawn to something that gave me nightmares like that? But I mean, look at what I'm playing. I never really liked Ghostbusters 2 myself. That seems to be the majority opinion. A lot of people don't like Ghostbusters 2. I like Ghostbusters 2. I think the courtroom scene is great. I think that the stuff with the going down into the tunnels to check out the River of Slime is all great and quite scary. Oh. Like Ghostbusters 2, just not as much as the first. I mean, there's the fair criticism that, you know, it's kind of like objectively weaker, the second one, in the sense that it is kind of the first one again. As a lot of sequels are. I ran out of energy. That's a shame. Batman the Animated Series was great too. Yeah, that came next. That came next after like Ghostbusters, Turtles. Then I think Batman was next in my lineup of sort of favorite cartoons. Just trying to pick up comments I might have skipped over. Greg says, didn't get into Transformers at the time. I was around-ish, alright, Zergling says, but I get, yeah, no worries, no worries. I was 12 at that time, Greg says, in 84. Those are both good. I like that scene of the... He says the Titanic just arrived. Well, better late than never. I didn't see you wrote that line too. I like the old live-action show of Batman. That would have been my first introduction to the character. Was reruns of that. I remember seeing that some of that series when I was a kid. I'm gonna have to pick that up on DVD for to watch with Baby Man when he's a bit older, I think. That was my first exposure to Batman, Shadowplay says. Learned something new about Animal Crossing. Have items in the Nook terminal that are from Pocket Camp and from Lego. There are Lego items in New Horizons? I didn't know that. Oh no. Oh, this is really unfortunate. Spawning here creates massive problems for me because you can't... I got so lucky. You can't step onto that moving platform on a new life for some reason. You have to jump onto it. If you try to walk, you'll stub your toe and fall into the abyss. It doesn't make any sense. You can do it fine if it's your first life approaching it, but if you respawn there, then the platform doesn't work anymore. Those skulls are blocking all my knives. Let's go. So Lego arcade machine, sofa, table, workbench. Oh, so you can make basically a whole Lego room. Well, that's pretty fun. It took me a real long time to do any decorating in my house. In Animal Crossing, because I didn't see the point in like putting up like any wallpapers or floors or items until I had enough to do like a whole room. So I was hoarding stuff for a long time. But I've been playing the game for several weeks. And my sister was also playing the game, and she wanted to come over to my island and check things out. And so I had her come over, and she was like looking around and everything, and seemed to like my island pretty well, what I'd been doing with the place. But she went into my house. In my house, the lights were turned off, and the only item I'd placed in my house was this doll sitting on the floor, alone in the dark house. And she came out and she says, "Bro, why is your house so creepy?" It took me a long time. It took me a long time to find any clothing that I liked as well. So for the longest time, the first thing I got that I really liked was this helmet. So it's like this Viking helmet with like the horns. I love the aesthetic of the horned Viking helmet. Like just in general, I really like that aesthetic, and I got one of those helmets like right away. Like when I played it, it came out of a balloon in the sky, and so I had that helmet on, and I could never find any clothes that went with it. So it was like the helmet was brown, and I had a brown bath towel, and that was my my uniform, was a Viking helmet and a bath towel, because they're the closest things that went together. Why is it not working? It wasn't working because I was mashing the jump button instead of the attack button, because the buttons are reversed in this game. Oh. Saw the animated series and the Batman movies, and then I discovered the live-action show years after. Thought it was so cheesy in comparison. I was used to the dark, brooding Batman. Yeah, and see, I knew the television show first, and I saw it when I was real young, so, like, I took the 60s Batman show dead serious. Of course the Joker has Batman and Robin suspended over a vat of acid and counterbalanced with a block of ice. And when that ice melts, they'll be lowered into the acid. Oh my goodness, he's so brilliant. I can't imagine. No, that show read completely straight to me. I do remember that. It seemed full of grim situations. Oh, I see. The thing is, I know barely any of the history of Animal Crossing. I played a little bit of the one on the DS, but I really sunk in with New Horizons, and the GameCube one. I never played. I had a friend who had it, and he showed me a little bit of it. I was there when my friend I was there when my buddy discovered Mr. Rossetti for the first time in Animal Crossing on GameCube though, and finding that organically was a wild that was a wild experience. Hey, Arkanoid Addict, welcome in. That was maybe the best attempt I've ever had at that dragon. How many hits, PB? I'm not counting the hits, Arkanoid Addict. I have no idea. I won't know a PB until that dragon dies. That was probably my best run, though, just because it felt like I lived longer there than I ever have. I think I jumped over more puffs of smoke. No. If only that little purple dragon wasn't basically invincible. I can only hit it when I'm crouching down, and I can only crouch down if I get the right pattern of smoke out of the big dragon, rendering it virtually invincible most of the time. It is really frustrating. Save your games, kids. Don't reset. Yeah, I like playing Animal Crossing just very naturally. I don't do any time travel or try to cheese anything with resets or anything when I play. I like tying myself to the organic experience of that. I'm dead. The only thing I remember about the Batman 60 series was pow, splat, etc. Greg says. I mean, to be fair, that is one of the, like, standout features. The goofiest episode was when Batman was having a surfing competition against the Joker. He had his bathing suit on over his bat suit. I feel like I've seen an image of that, but I don't recall actually seeing that episode. The autosave replaced Mr. Rossetti. Do I have any idea what I'll be playing after January is over? So the first thing I'm going to do is try to finish stuff that I've started and haven't finished, Greg. So, like, I need to finish Disaster Report. I'd like to try and finish Chacon. I got a list. I've been trying to write down the stuff that I'm only part of the way through. So I want to... there's always new stuff. There's always new stuff that I want to play, but... February. So, I need to finish up Windswept. I would like to play some good games. I don't know if it's a. I don't really know if it's a good game or not, but I've been feeling lately like I've been in the mood to start up a playthrough of that Superman game on the NES. I feel like that could be potentially fun. Donkey Kong Country 3 and Crash Bandicoot, both strong contenders. When he starts with a ground fireball, I'm not prepared for it, but it really doesn't matter. It might as well hit me if it's a ground one because the little purple dragon's gonna hit me anyway. So I'm kind of dead either way. From the top. Play games like a reasonable person. I'd rather give up gaming altogether. Besides, everyone's definition of reasonable gaming is completely different, so I might as well be completely unreasonable. Ooh, that guy with the, that guy in the window came back real quick after that Lizard King got out of the way. There should have been a little bit of more of a time gap there. Aw, that's a shame. I haven't been in the habit of messing that up too much lately. I did blunder it once last night. And what are the odds of Frownie being reasonable? Not nearly as good as the not nearly as good as the odds of Frownie becoming even less reasonable. So, and you know what? I decided that being able to see the full screen when you play a game is cheating, so I've taken and placed random post-it notes all over my CRT monitor. So now there are 4 or 5 completely dead zones where I can't see anything. That's a more natural and that's a more natural way to play a game. Great strategy. Is there an NES version? There is. There's an NES. Sorry, there's a Super NES version. Yeah, there's an SNES one. There's which I do plan to play. I would like to. My original thought was I'll just play I'll just play all the Dragon's Lair games back to back. There's a lot of them. That'll be a fun little marathon. I know the first one is. I know the one on the NES has a reputation for being janky and brutal, but how bad could it be? So I thought I'd play them all like right away, but I've been stuck on this one for forever. But yeah, I want to play Super NES. There's one on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. There's a version of the arcade game I think on the Wii for us to play, and there's a There's a 3D game on the Xbox and the GameCube. So there's a bunch of Dragon's Lair, and I want to play a bunch of it, but I've been stuck behind one game, just locked in this prison. So yeah, I haven't looked into any of what they're actually like. I'm trying to stay blind on them for to preserve those playthroughs for the stream. February. Frownie has to pretend to be excited and thrilled all stream, every stream, all month long. Uh-oh. I messed that up. My mind wandered for a second and I walked too far. I've got this, I don't know the thing that it shows up on camera very well, but it just makes me think. I've got this little sign that's been hanging up in my room, or standing up right here. Woohoo, it's winter. For your, Feb woohoo-wary. I'm already prepared. You're gonna skip the Sega CD version. So that I can't play yet. Yeah, I would have to skip over that one for now, just because I don't have any hardware for playing it. But I would hope to be able to at some point, though. Oh yeah, I think I heard there's gonna be an F-Zero game on the they're releasing an F-Zero Virtual Boy game. No, that's good news, good news. Let's go. I'm making so many silly mistakes. I don't have any particular love for the Virtual Boy, for the F-Zero series. I've never played through an F-Zero game other than very mild dabbling in the Super NES and the 99 version. I haven't played like the, what is it, N64, GameCube, GBA. There's a few of them out there. I think I played just a very, very small amount of the Super NES F-Zero, like at a friend's house, and was just like, this is way too hard. And F-Zero 99 also just, that game feels just completely random and chaotic to me. I don't feel like when I've played that, like, I don't feel like I have any control over what my car is doing. I feel like I'm just being carried along by the sea of the other vehicles. And whatever position I wind up in is completely random and out of my hands. Now, that may not be true, but that's what it feels like to play that game, so it didn't win me over. I don't play a lot of racing games in general, though. I was really excited for Beetle Adventure Racing and was having fun with that one, but that game, there's something wrong with it. It kept crashing, and so it made me not want to play it anymore. I got annoyed by how it kept crashing on me, which is a real shame, because that could have been fun to spend a lot more time with. Hey, Sark. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. How goes the pain? I'm cautiously optimistic. I've been stuck at this big dragon boss for a long while now, and I very recently had a couple runs where I didn't immediately die. So, like, I've begun to feel like returning fire is possible, but I'm still not surviving very long. And of course, it takes half my life to get back there. Still an improvement. It is, anytime we're making progress, it's easy to hang on to just the tiniest glimmer of hope. Feb Cthulhuary, where Frownie must show how many sanity points he has, but that wouldn't work since he has 0 to begin with. I wish I could have a number displayed on the screen. That would be my alive. Like some gamers have like a heart rate monitor, like speedrunners. I want a sanity monitor that in real time fluctuates as I'm playing games. But to your point, it would read 0 so often. It would look like a what is it, like a flatlining EEG. Just people would come in and just say, "Oh, pull the plug, he's gone." Oh. Super NES, F-Zero is a great one to start with. I imagine if I ever did try to conquer the F-Zero series, that I would basically try and do them in order. Oh, sorry, I got something in my eye. I think I'm better now. Didn't get a Super NES till way later. Got it for Christmas one year. Already had a PlayStation 1 at that point. It's the most random gift ever. Got some sweet games with it go. DKC, 1, 2, and 3. Doom, Killer Instinct. I had a cousin who had Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct is a game I have Killer Instinct in the box, still in the shrink wrap. It's the only game in my collection that I have that's sealed in its original box. I have collected. I'm not a very I'm not, to say I'm a collector is misleading because I'm not an active collector. I'm someone who has a collection that he primarily built up a very long time ago. I very rarely add anything to it except bogus trash games that I think are funny to play on the stream. At this point, I almost never buy a new game of quality. Like 2 or 3 times a year, maybe. But I don't really care about boxes and stuff like that, but Killer Instinct is the one game that I have it still sealed in its box. And the only reason that it is because I don't really like fighting games, so I never bothered to open it. That started with the best games right off the bat. Mario World and All Stars, very nice. Just noticed the Pikmin Frownie. Yeah, I really love Pikmin 1. I've only played it once through, but I look back on it as a very magical experience. I thought Pikmin 2 was great as well, but maybe too big, because I did feel exhausted by the end of Pikmin 2. The yellow Pikmin, he's holding a yellow Pikmin just because yellow pops best against purple. I can't really say that I favor any type above the other, at least not of the original 3. I think Pikmin 2 had were there purple Pikmin in Pikmin 2? There were white Pikmin. I don't remember which Pikmin were added to Pikmin 2. Which is weird, because I played that game for so much longer. White and purple. So the purple should be my favorite, just because it's my favorite color, but I don't know. Maybe the blue Pikmin are my favorite. Because they're not constantly drowning. Alright, let's go. I thought I would play the Pikmin series at a rate of about one a year, but I didn't. I haven't gotten around to Pikmin 3 yet. That's where I'm up to. Welcome in, Budafingers. What did Olimar study in college? Business Pikministration. Badumts. Become reasonably competent with this whole game, and then I just hit this. I get to this dragon. I just hit a wall of. It's so difficult. I think the dragon's name is Tyson. That is exactly my Punch-Out experience. Oh no. It's too perfect. Oh! No, jump again! Wow. I was accidentally doing okay for a moment. I don't know how I got rid of that purple dragon, because I can never hit him except when I'm crouched all the way down under normal circumstances, so who knows. Hit your big toe. Yeah, I've got an Achilles big toe. If a single atom brushes against me, then I just turn to dust. That's why I had to choose Olimar for tonight's artwork. It's because this guy can only survive in the complete vacuum of space, where there's nothing to touch him. No, my daggers aren't even landing. Will you fire down so I can jump over it? What are you doing? Bogus. Hey, cows, welcome in. Hope you are doing well today, my friend. Isn't being hit in the cold vacuum of space why the Pikmin games happened in the first place? I suppose that's true. I tried to get up earlier than it appeared, but I didn't read my first up input. I was still throwing knives. It's my fault, but I'm still annoyed. We got a lot more Simpsons games to play too. In reference back to the question from like half an hour ago about what I might be playing soon. I mean, I don't know how soon I'm gonna get to them, but I conquered all the NES Simpsons games, but I've got a lot of Super NES ones to play. Palomar needs a better navigation system. It's like, potential spoilers alert, or potential spoiler alert for Gilligan's Island. I believe they made a movie where they did in fact actually get off the island, only at the very end to be capsized once more on the same island. I saw the end of that. I believe I saw the end of that movie once. Don't forget the Game Boy. Yep, I've got the Game Boy games as well, Sark. I thought I would do the Super NES ones next, though, since, well, just so I could delay doing the Game Boy ones. Bart versus the Space Mutants on Genesis. Bart's Nightmare, I mean. Yeah, I thought I would check out Genesis games too, if they seemed substantially different from their SNES counterparts. Or if I guess if I was told they were, because I don't want to look into them and spoil myself. I usually default to the Super NES version of stuff. If something exists on both Genesis and Super NES. I will typically prioritize the Super NES version. I'm trying to think. I think the only game where I didn't do that was Warlock. When I played Warlock, I decided to play the Genesis version because I thought the movie Warlock is really rad, and the Genesis has that extra rad factor. So it would be a better pairing. It's better on the Genesis, so as good as that game is going to get. I should play more, like, when the same game exists on both consoles, I should play more of them. I should play both of them more often. There's not a lot where I have done both versions, if they're the same game. Oh. I think the only example I can think of is Hook. I played Hook on the Super NES and the Genesis. And that was just because that game was so short. We played that on the stream, and I was done with it in like an hour, and I was like, well, why don't we play the Genesis version? How did you like it? I remember thinking it was alright. Like, it wasn't great, but I didn't hate it either. So, I mean, how could I? Only had to live with it for an hour. It's a bit slow from what I've seen. I think that's probably fair. I definitely wouldn't say that it's like that it's like really good. I think it's just like pretty neutral all around. The Genesis and the Super NES game are also like virtually identical. Like, yeah, you can tell which one you're looking at, like, when you see them side by side, but there's like no functional difference between the two that I was able to discover or remember, at least. I do, there are Genesis games that, like, I prefer over their Super Nintendo sort of counterparts. Not when it's the same game on both systems, but when, like, each system has, like, a game from, like, what are conceptually a pair, right? Like Contra 3 and Contra Hardcore. I like Contra Hardcore way better. Castlevania Bloodlines I like better than both Castlevania 4 and Dracula X. Rocket Knight Adventures is way better than Sparkster. So my typical preference for Super Nintendo is definitely not absolute. One of the most overrated Genesis games for me is Alien Storm. I have not played that one. Overrated. The most overrated Genesis game for me is Genesis Aladdin. I could not wrap my mind around how people love that game so much. I think that Genesis Aladdin is a disaster of a game. I love that game. Everyone does. I've met like 4 people out of everyone I've ever met who can see what I see. Oh, the levels are so meandering. The Cave of Wonders, like getting away from that stone is so annoying. The Friend Like Me level is unplayable. the Friend Like Me level is so garbage, and the final boss fight, no good. I can't think of anything I like about that game. I love the Super NES Aladdin, too. I am a big fan of Super NES Aladdin. I think that one is fantastic. Oh, welcome in. Is that Sagaya? Thank you for joining me. Oh, I'm glad you're on my side. It's okay, I won't unfollow. Oh. So, like, there's a, like, you know, the thing is, and this is not an apology, but is a kind of a consideration, because I don't like that game. But the thing is, there's a few games like that where I feel like I'm in the extreme minority where I don't enjoy it. But then again, like, there's so many games where I feel like I'm close to the only person on Earth who loves it. So my tastes are very hard to defend. It's hard to get people to take you seriously when you're a Castlevania 64 super fan. Genesis Aladdin has a better music and animations. SNES Aladdin has a better gameplay by far, Sark says. Yeah, I'm not, I mean, I'm not displeased with the look and sound of the Super NES Aladdin. I don't know. Genesis Aladdin. So Genesis Aladdin also had a horrible disadvantage though. When I played that on the stream, I didn't have composite video for my Genesis yet. I was playing on an RF signal. So, and I do believe the picture was like kind of blown out. So, I maybe didn't get a fair impression of what that game's supposed to look like. You see what I mean? You can't walk onto the moving platform on your additional lives. You can do it on your first life just fine, but on the additional lives, for some reason, his toes always get caught. Whoa, that was close. Never actually played the SNES version. I hear it's not as good. The SNES version, like the stages are like a lot more linear, right? It's not because the Genesis Aladdin, the stages are really meandering. You gotta go up and down and back and around and over, and like just the pathway through the levels is sometimes hard to figure out. Like, I don't, like, when I play that game, like, I don't know what I can stand on and what's scenery. And so the pathing is really difficult. The NES games are pretty flat, like, so are pretty linear games. They're more like just running an obstacle course. But, like, that's a strength because, like, your movement is really fun in that game. Aladdin's very, his movement's very fluid and like you've got this little paraglider. You can bounce off items and swing on. You can grab things and swing off of them, and his parkour to get through the stage is a lot of fun. Just feels good to move in that game. Master System Aladdin is pretty decent. I haven't played that one. I did play some of the handheld ones. I played the Game Boy Advance game, which is a worse port of the Super NES game. And I played the Game Boy Color game, which is a demake of the Genesis game, and I like it better. SNES version of this game is decent, Chozo says. I hope that I am able to earn my way to it at some point. If I can beat this game, I'll get to play the SNES version someday. Go for Game Gear Lad and then complete the set. I should do both of those, the Master System and the Game Gear. I don't know. I don't know how I would play them on the stream. Thank you for the follow, Sagai. I appreciate you being coming on board with us. Oh, I sure didn't preserve very many lives for this attempt. Oh, and I threw the first one away immediately. If I'm throwing knives and I hit jump, I can jump. Okay. So if I'm throwing knives, I can jump in the middle of throwing knives without having to stop, but if I want to duck, I have to stop. It's fine, you didn't need that life. Technically, it only takes one to win, right? Bummer. From the top. I really need for that first smoke attack to not be a low attack. What is even the point of fighting that guy? What is even the point of fighting that guy? Because if you defeat him, it doesn't matter. He just respawns immediately. What is the point of anything in this game? Fair. Very fair. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to enjoy a game where anytime you have the illusion of progress, the game just changes the rules so that you still fail. It's like a it's like the most sadistic version of Calvin Ball. BBF, welcome in. This guy seems real nonchalant about whatever quest he's on. It's hard to have a sense of urgency when your shoes flop around empty 7 inches off the end of your feet. Numberwang. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's something that changes the rules on you. I'm jealous of the amount of fun you're having right now. Welcome in, Yaden. Great to see you. I feel very sorry for you if that's the case. If this is an enviable amount of fun, things must be pretty bad. King Spawn, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. Formerly Derek Ocean. It's a Mitchell and Webb reference. You're not missing much. I know I'm not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with that work. This is one of those. Yeah, I rented this. The game I rented is dreadful. But I have to play it because it's all I have this weekend. Happened to kids all too often. Happened to me with Space Ace on the NES, on the SNES. Oh, I don't think I knew there was a Space Ace. That's related to Dragon's Lair, isn't it? I don't think I knew that was. I don't think I realized that was also on the Super NES. Oh no, that's gonna have to be on my to-do list too then. It's horrible, Chozo says. Oh, great. Because I think the game on the Wii, I have Dragon's Lair on the Wii, I think it has Space Ace on the same disc, so they're connected. I've got to treat them like part of the same series. Oh no. Yeah, yeah. It's more of the same thing. Oh boy. Well, something else to do. I think you've been playing that Sea of Stars, I think, Yaden? I've seen you streaming that a little bit. It's like a kind of like a retro throwback RPG, from what I understand. I hope that's been treating you well. Horrible might be too kind of a description for that game. For the Space Ace. It's been awesome. Loved The Messenger. It's in the same universe. Oh, I didn't know that. I've heard The Messenger is really good. I haven't played it, but it's been recommended to me. Several times. I don't think I'll make this jump. Oh. It's in some of the same areas of music. It's cool, really digging it. Yeah, I didn't realize those were connected. I do not, as you may have noticed, have a solid approach to that moving platform area there. My strategy for getting through that is largely luck-based. Some may be of the opinion that that's not much of a strategy at all. My audio is pretty badly desynced on my end. Let me fix that. See, first approach, you can walk on the platform just fine. But every subsequent approach, something changes and you can't walk on it like that. You can only do that on the first approach. It's baffling. Ah! That should have been my opportunity to do a whole lot of damage, and instead I did 1 damage. Sorry that you played this so many times to know that it only works on the first approach. Yeah, I don't know. Frownie's approach is solid as Jello. There's some games that I play that, like, the more I learn the game, the more I resent how much I've learned the game. I would say this ranks among those. Life would be so much better if I could keep this axe for the final boss at the end of this board, but I feel like it's nice to wipe out these little dragons here, but with it. And I imagine it would make the purple dragons during that fight so much easier to deal with. But they put a thing in my way so that I can't hang on to this weapon. If there's a way around it, I haven't discovered it. Right there. That letter D, I don't know how to escape that. Because the platform overhangs the other one. I don't know. I just don't really think there's any way around it. energy. Started watching Wonder Man, that new Marvel show. Wasn't that excited, but so far it's been better than I thought. I had not even heard of that one. Glad it seems to be pretty alright. Hey, Duck Something, welcome in. Best game again. You know me, I insist upon only the finest quality. Hey, Pumpkin, good to see you. You know the origin story of Ecco the Dolphin, like IRL Ecco? I can't say that I do. I didn't think the game was based on true events. Most people don't even know who he is, a more unknown Marvel character. Wonder Man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever heard of him. This might be the first Rage game ever. No! Ah! I assumed I knew what he was doing and I was wrong. Um... Guy living with dolphins and taking LSD. It's a wild story. Check it out sometime. It's an explicit story. Well, might look into the Cliff Notes at some point. Being the Ecco superfan that I am, it behooves me to know its history, I suppose. No, I'm always doing the wrong thing. Sounds like it's what this the back that backstory of Ecco sounds like a Twilight Zone episode. Elevated to 11. If this boss only behaved with a predictable pattern, if I could just learn his moves and he doesn't. There's no I mean, there might be some way to manipulate it, but I haven't worked it out yet. And the window, like... Your character is so clunky and slow that, like, the window for reacting is basically non-existent. You basically have to tell this guy what he needs to do to react to the dragon's attacks an hour before the dragon actually attacks. The only viable strategy I've so far realized is, like, you need the ability to see into the future. Anything short of that, you're probably gonna fail. Oh, we got a raid coming in. Very nice. Pokemon's came in as well. Welcome in, Raiders. Sots, thank you for the raid. You were playing Earthbound, I think? I hope that's right. That's what the shoutout says. I hope that it went well for you tonight. Hope you had a fun stream. I'm making what's probably my last run at Dragon's Lair for the night before we switch over to Ecco, the Tides of Time. Earthbound is a gem among gems, Pumpkin says. I've heard it's really good. I'm not really super into RPGs, but Earthbound is one that, like, I think that I would probably have fun with, because it seems to be very quirky and interesting. It's a game in its own league. B. Jonas, welcome in. Thank you for coming along. Appreciate you coming along with the raid. And poor Frownie, forced to use both the B and A button, Zergling says. An alien engineer. Do you think I forget stuff? Never, Pokemon says. That's a classic. Did I say hello, VHS? Welcome in, VHS. Glad to have you here. Wonder Man is a guy who has superpowers. He's a struggling actor and wants to be in a movie called Wonder Man. It seems like he would be the perfect cast. Pumpkin says the project was funded by NASA in the '60s. The floodable house would cost $2 million today. Say what we will, I get it, but NASA aren't exactly known for having unintelligent people working for them, and they know secrets. So, I read The Exorcist recently, and that's a novel, but one of the major plot points of the novel is that the priest who's investigating the possession is basically trying to eliminate every possible explanation he can for all of the phenomena that are happening. He doesn't want to conclude that a demonic possession is the explanation, and so he's constantly explaining away stuff that happens, and by appealing to the best science of the time. But the thing is that, like, science in the 60s and 70s was in such a weird place that obvious scams and crack pottery were taken as, like, real legitimate scientific conclusions at that time. It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre because, like, when Blatty wrote the novel, he was appealing to what was legitimately accepted current science. And so his character, this priest character, comes across as not being, like, hyper skeptical, but really, like, doing, like, super due diligence. But when you read the book now, that all of that scientific fraud has been exposed and overturned, it seems it makes it seem not that he's being diligent, but that he's being so skeptical that he's willing to turn to the most absurd, discredited science to seek any possible explanation. It's kind of completely changed his character if you read it out of time. This could be due to a wheat germ deficiency. It's a really interesting experience. It was really interesting to think about it. It's just kind of wild. It's just kind of wild how, like, how that was going on back then. And it's not like, I use some pretty, like, harsh language of fraud and fraud and scams. And that's it definitely, I think a lot of it had to be, but some of it just comes out of, like, a sense of over optimism at the time, and, like, an attitude that to be critical would be too to be too critical would be too close-minded and stuff. So, like, I don't know. Just very bizarre. It's very bizarre to read. I started chewing on that change that change for a while I was reading through that. I haven't seen the appeal of Earthbound yet, Pokemon says. I don't know, it just hasn't clasped its hooks into me yet. Yeah, I don't know too much about it. because I do know I would like to play it for myself, so I try to avoid it too much, but I think it could be fun. Strategy guide came with it, had scratch and sniff boss sections. I remember I wanted cologne of one of the bosses. It's like Pink Floyd, you gotta listen to the whole album. If I was looking for secrets and I find one, chances are I keep that secret. If it's a very evil power, I take it to the grave and make myself look crazy. Daughter is possessed as she tried smoking Pall Mall menthol Slims. I know the cause of this cancer. Dirty cigarette holders. Fair enough, Pumpkin says. I only have a 10th grade education. Formal education is, you know, it has its pros and cons. Fraud is fraud, truth is truth. My optimism is proven naivety most of the time. Most people don't even use that much of it, BBF says. I went to the wrong room. Oh no. Rip the run. This is a mistake. This is a particular mistake I haven't made in a while. Having an extensive knowledge and an ability to think well are really good things. And formal education can get you there, right? But also the institutions that manage formal education are imperfect and can be gamed, and so like paper credentials don't always necessarily reflect actual competency. Hey, Kasarigama, welcome in. I use multiplication, division, geometry, etc. pretty often. I guess I use a real, like, low level of mathematics pretty often, but... like, in my day-to-day life, nothing really more than very basic algebra. Ooh. I'm doing horribly. I'm doing horribly right now. I'm going in the wrong doors. I'm miscounting the boss timing. Please. The arcade version of this was pretty old by the time this came out. I guess I don't know when the arcade game was around. I don't recall ever seeing it in person myself, but I also spent exceedingly little time in arcades as a kid. I never really liked arcade machines all that much. When it comes to video games, I have always vastly preferred the at-home console controller in hand experience. Arcade machines are like an interesting novelty, but they're not something I ever have really wanted to spend much time with. The A button should always be optional. You know, I always want to have the A button, and I always want to have the freedom to ignore the A button. Arcade was 83. This was 90. That's a pretty big gap. Why did the music cut out? Hey Tommy, welcome in. Here's to another flawless victory for Frownie. This attempt has already been so ugly. So riddled with nonsense errors. Oh, favorite Marvel Comics character? King Spawn asks. Marvel Comics. Probably Spider-Man. My comic book superhero knowledge is not the sharpest. Like, I don't know. I know more than nothing, but there's no hero that I'm like expert in by any means. Especially if we're like talking like with an emphasis on their comic book lore. But probably Spider-Man. Is Moon Knight Marvel? I thought Moon Knight was kind of interesting, but I don't know a whole lot about him. I'm of the two, I'm much more interested in DC characters. I like Batman and Superman, of course. I also really like, though, again, I don't know everything there is to know about them, but I really like The Flash and Swamp Thing. Like, if I had more time, if I devoted more time to reading comics, I would read The Flash and I would read Swamp Thing, would be what I would prioritize. They're probably the most interesting to me. Used to read Moon Knight comics, Duck Something says. I've got a small collection of them on my shelf, but you wouldn't believe, like, if you looked at my bookshelf, I've got a lot of, like, trade paperback, like, comic anthologies. You would think that I was a huge comics nerd if you looked at my bookshelf, because I used to work in a bookstore. I used to work in a used bookstore, and so I got things wildly cheap. So I would build up collections of stuff. It's like, oh, I'll have this for a rainy day, sometime down the road. But this rainy day has still never come. So they just sit collecting dust. I've been reading a lot more lately, though, so maybe I'll make an effort to try and read a trade paperback every month or so. Yeah, mix that in. I preferred Man Thing to Swamp Thing, Yeah, I don't know any of his stories. I haven't been able to make a fair comparison. Oh, the Final Fantasy VII remake on the Switch too. I didn't know I didn't know they put that on the Switch too. Only $40. I was sold. Right on. There's also yeah, Game Boy. Yep. I plan to do a lot of the other Dragon's Lair games too. I'm stuck behind this one. But yeah, SNES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Xbox, I got my eye on a lot of them. I'm just trapped behind this one. Moon Knight is Marvel. Batman's my favorite known comic character. Kasarigama says. I like DC a lot. Superman's my favorite, King Spawn says. Tried reading some Swamp Thing. It's pretty dark and edgy, VHS says. I'll have to see, because like again, I've got very like surface level information, so I'll have to see how the darkness and edginess appeal or don't appeal to me if I get to them. Alright, now let's... This part's supposed to be easy. Is the truth of the matter that I really just don't want to beat the game? I'm self-sabotaging, so I get to spend more time with it. I don't know what to do about this, situation here. I just gotta hope a rock doesn't hit me. Oh, it's bad. What would you ever do without this game? I mean, I asked myself the same question when I played Jump King, right? But there's always a jankier fish. I only read sample books now for kicks. I've read over 20 books this year, Tommy says. I can now be the insufferable person that suffers from hyper-pretentiousness I always wanted to be. I don't know that I know what you mean by sample books. Do you mean like condensed books, or do you mean like you read like the Kindle preview for a whole bunch of different books? Yes, the preview. I would say it's a time and cost efficient strategy. What? Why is this dragon green? Why was the little dragon green? Those little dragons are supposed to be purple. Sometimes I do end up buying the books. It's a big fail, my cheapskate approach to life. If anything, I have a bad habit of buying too many books. I really should lean on my local library a lot more. I do, buy them, secondhand, so they don't usually cost me a huge amount of money, but they cost me a huge amount of living room space. And then when I do read something, then I have to go through the, when I do read something, if I do finally read something, I have to go through the process of unburdening myself from it. Alright, my friends, that's it for Dragon's Lair for tonight. I'm not doing any good, but I've gotta switch gears and give some time to Ecco, or we won't make any progress there either. So, I will play this again probably next week. Probably on Tuesday of next week is when we'll play Dragon's Lair again. It's a new month on Sunday, right? Sunday's February 1st. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I would like to, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I don't think I'm going to have the time and energy. If I do tomorrow, we'll do something completely unrelated, though. So, Dragon's Lair, probably Tuesday, we'll play it again. And I'll just keep trying. I'll just keep trying, and hopefully we'll make it. What happens to all the jank in February? Jankuary is a facade. I call January Jankuary as if it's any different from the rest of the year. But you know nothing changes in February. I download books to my tablet in EPUB format. It's amazing. I can't read very comfortably on the tablet. I've tried. It's like finding a sale at Kohl's. I tried to get into reading on my tablet. It just doesn't do much for me. And it's not the screen thing, because I had a Kindle keyboard. Like the keyboard edition of the Kindle at one time. And I used that. A lot for a year or two. I don't know why I ever really stopped using it, but at some point I did. Now it doesn't work very well anymore. It still functions, but I have a lot of trouble with it. It doesn't work very well. The more my vision the more poor my vision becomes, the more I appreciate reading on my phone. Yeah, I should probably. Well, the thing is, like, I'd probably use it a lot if I invested in like a newer, like, e-reader of some sort. But I really need to prioritize consuming and unloading the books I have physically sitting around. So I probably won't make that investment. Gotten used to it, had to mess with the settings to get the lighting right. Still prefer physical copies, but it's nice just to find almost anything. I like that you can. I like a lot about e-readers. I like being able to change the font size. Because I really do appreciate large type, but I'm not yet to where I can't read like the regular smaller type books, but I'm to where I prefer to have a larger type, 10 words per page. Alright, I'm going to refill my coffee, I'm going to switch to the Genesis, and we're going to work on Ecco, the Tides of Time. So give me just a moment, my friends. I'll be right back with you.